Well, hey, welcome back to my little garden show. What are we doing today, Babus?
Checking the worms.
Checking the worms. What do you think, bud? It's been a while since you've been on camera, bud.
Oh,
Now, I just added some food this morning.
We need a new tray. I'm getting a new tray.
I took some pineapple scraps from cutting up a pineapple, coffee grounds, put it through the Vitamix blender to pulverize it. And again, the reason why we're doing that is to increase the surface area, break things down, break the material down so that the worms can process it faster. And so instead of it taking, basically within a week, they can go through a couple pounds of food if you go that route.
Well, vegetables, of course.
Anyway, there's a fresh clump of food here. There's probably at least 50 pounds of worm castings so far that this bin has generated, and we've not been like actively, keeping tabs on it and feeding them every week and trying to get them going as quick as we can. It's been really, every couple of weeks I come down and put some food in here, and that seems to be doing all right. The material is on the top here somewhat dry. The key, at least I've found, in putting the processed food in here is to cover it with material, and you want to do that so that it keeps down, the flies and things like that, and keeps things contained so that it doesn't attract insects.
What are these holes for?
Good question. So we're getting ready. We're going to be adding a tray to this bin after we're going to check the lower bin and get some castings out of it, because we're going to head over to Grandpa's house, check out the greenhouse, and we may plant some lettuce.
I know what these are for.
What are they for?
The worms come through?
Yes. So we put the wormbin tray on here, and actually there's quite a bit of material in here, so I'm going to have to watch this, but I may even have to clear some of this material out and then put it in this tray. But put the material down along with some of their castings. I could do that. Or just put the material in here, about halfway. We'd put some food in the middle of it, bury the food, and then the food would attract the worms.
And we always put
they're upward feeders, so they're going to migrate upwards. That's their natural habit.
Yeah, they started right here, and then when we put that tray on, we didn't add food till it was all done, and then they wanted more, so we put it in here.
Yeah, and so you can have several trays that are at various stages of being processed. The newest tray on top, the idea is that the worms will go up in the new tray, and then the lower trays that are already finished, you can pull them out. You basically pull the bin apart, take that tray out, and just kind of cycle it.
Didn't you only do 2 trays last year? You didn't do a third?
Right, I didn't do a third. We just stuck with the 2. And you can see how it's weighted itself down. Everything's really compacted in this bottom tray. Well, we'll take a look, and then we'll get some material out, mix it with some of our potting mix, and then we'll head to the greenhouse to see if we can do any planting today. All right, so let's take a look at the bottom bin here. Now, one thing that's nice about this wormbin 360 is that the lid actually serves as a stand for a tray. Like if I'm going to pull a tray out, I can put it in these grooves and there's still plenty of room, because there's going to be some worms hanging from the bottom of this tray if we lift this up. Everybody, once you film, don't drop the camera. Make sure your finger isn't over there you go. You see it? Let's keep it steady. You see those worms? They're a big clump there. I'm going to take this.
Worms are weird, and they're ignorant.
They're not ignorant, baby. We got that there. And this is pretty well processed. There's not a lot, or there shouldn't be a lot of worms in there. Where's our little rake at, bud?
Sarah. Why don't you use that? We'll use this.
No, we need that one. That's the small one. Sarah, give me that.
You get this one.
So we're kind of pull this apart to see what's in here.
Oh, is that hard to get through?
I'll smell that, bud. It's dark, just completely, really dark.
Is this all worm food?
It's pliable, and yet it breaks apart. It's got really good structure. So you can squeeze it. At the same time, break it apart. And that's what your garden soil should be. If your soil has a really good structure, it should be similar to what these castings just did. And the reason for that is because the castings have a microbial slime on them, and so that's kind of nature's way of ensuring that it's a slow release fertilizer, so that as it gets wet, it's just not all going to leach out into the soil and get into the water table.
Like bat.
Kind of
like guana.
That. Yeah, guana's not quite as good as this in that respect. So that's what you want your garden soil, all the little microorganisms in the soil. If you, limit your tilling and don't completely destroy the soil structure, should be similar to that. They call them soil aggregates, where it's got a pretty good capacity to hold water and air and consequently nutrients. So this stuff's perfect. We're going to go through here. Now there are a few worms in this, which is a little surprising because this has been going for almost a year now. Do not spray that. Stuff stinks so bad.
It does?
Yep.
Oh, is it the fish smell?
Yep.
A bad fish.
Well, we're going to get some of this out, and most of it is worm-free. There's only a few little worms.
Mash it.
These are red wigglers. They're the king. They call them the king of composting worms.
Daddy.
They can eat up to half their body weight in a day. Well, we're going to go through here, pull out some of these castings, kind of harvest this bin. And we're going to add it to our seed starting mix, and then basically we'll be ready to plant. So I'm going to get that going here real quick. Alright, so we are most of the way through this tray. What I did was I used our A.M. Leonard soil tool
and we just destroyed
to kind of bust up the clods. And the worms, they were pretty quick. Once they were exposed to the light, the grow lights here, they tunneled down through here into the lower tray, the worm ladder, so to speak, that's got a bunch of worm castings in it to hide. But basically, I just dug my hands in there and kind of broke the clods apart. And then Samuel here,
look at this baby worm.
yeah, he's been looking for worms. We filled this cup with worms and a little bit of the
Soil.
castings,
So that they wouldn't die.
so that was going. And then Selah, I had her in this tray here as I was basically grabbing handfuls of the worm castings, coming over here and breaking them up
Look.
into our tote. Yep, that's good, bud.
Like,
Breaking them up. Don't, honey, don't do that. Yeah. Breaking them up into the tote, and then she was pulling out worms, any that we missed. So we're about done clearing out this tray. You can kind of see where
we just need to.
And there weren't a ton of worms
There's
in
maybe
this lower
100.
tray. Most of them are in this upper tray that we pulled off. That's currently on the stand here. They're congregated around the material I put in here, munching on it.
But for the ones that hadn't gotten there yet, they're going under here.
So what's going to happen is we'll pull this off to get to the rest of them. And then this is going to become our new lower tray. And I might remove some of this material here just to make it lower. And then we will fill this tray again with
Poopy
more
pants.
bedding.
No,
Grow
with
mix.
poo.
No. With some grow mix and put some
No.
food in there.
Poo.
And we should be good to go.
See, look, they're hiding in
Or
here.
what we might do is just leave this, just go with the one tray for now until this is worked down a little bit, and then put a second tray on it. That's probably what we'll do.
Look, see, that one's trying to get away.
Yep, it's trying to go down through the 1/4 inch opening there, and it will. It'll get down there.
Or we can catch it.
All right, so let's finish this up, guys. All right, as we're finishing up here, I just wanted to show you this. Just some worms at various stages of growth. So the bin is healthy. I mean, they are reproducing. We get a full-grown. Hey, move out of the way, honey. A full-grown worm there by my ring finger. There's a little baby worm in that cluster. There's another baby worm right there in the middle of my hand. And here's one that's in between. It's a little bit older. Not as big as this one. but not as little as the littlest ones. We'll throw them in this bin here.
That worm did move fast.
So one that's right there, it's still
Mommy's having things down
There's a
there.
lot of worms down there.
still hanging on.
No. Little worms right
Give me some more.
Sweet.
All right. So I just dumped out the cup of worms from the other tray, and there's probably close to 100 worms there. Maybe not that many. Not near as many as there are in the center here, munching on this. He's about got that cleared out.
Yay! Sayla.
I've got a scraper tool. We'll get this all cleaned down and I'll lift this up and I'll show you what's underneath. Alright, so I peeled off the worm ladder that sits in here like this, and I scraped out all the castings that were on the side. So what we got to do now is break these clumps apart. And there's going to be more worms in here.
Worms are waiting for you.
And they don't have anywhere to go. You know, they could kind of escape from us as we were harvesting the upper tray. But now, you know, we're going to just be coming across them, and we'll have to pull them out as we break this material apart. This material is a little more wet because all the moisture in the bed is, you know, kind of going down to this bottom tray. It's supposed to come out this spigot here to get they call it leachate. It's basically worm pee. Doesn't smell. It's basically concentrated fertilizer. You can dilute it, a couple parts of water to leachate, and you have a good foliar spray. But again, just to illustrate, you know, here's a clump. I can squeeze it. It stays together, and yet I can break it apart very easily. It's got good structure. So we're going to go through that, fill our tote with castings. We'll have harvested a full tray. And again, this tray has been going since last February, in the middle of February. And we've not been, you know, every week, every couple of weeks putting food in it. So we started out with fall leaves as the bedding, and then supplemented with leftover Pro Mix from last year. I've got a new block of it for this year. As bedding works out great.
Rings around them, right?
And we add a little bit of grit as we, you know, add material. I've got like a rock powder, because like chickens, they have like a gizzard to help them break down material as they're eating through it.
Let me do this, Daddy.
So anyway, we'll get that going, and we'll put that tray on top. We'll just have one tray for a little while, and then once that's broken down a little bit, we'll start a new tray, and then they'll continue to work this tray down until we start this process again. So all right, so we're finally done.
Please let us go to Grandpa's.
We're going to, you know, got it more or less cleaned out. You know, I mean, it's a little bit of a dirty business here, but well worth it. These worm castings are going to be awesome. Potting material. So we got a couple inches. I don't know how many pounds exactly that we've got just in this one tray, but quite a bit. What we can do is mix up some Grow Mix in with this. And really what I could do is divide this in half. There's enough worm castings in here that I could fill this with Grow Mix. No. Fill this with Grow Mix, and, you know, probably 2 parts Grow Mix to 1 part worm castings, and that would be fine.
Daddy, when you said the worms are smart, why did they just fall in here?
I don't know, but we need to replace our calendar, get our new calendar down here, huh? We haven't been really, obviously I haven't really turned the page since November on that. It's okay. Alright, so we're going to get this back together. The worm ladder goes in like that, so if worms do get down in here, they have a way of kind of crawling their way back up and getting back into the bin. We will put this tray back in and put the lid on. We'll be done with that. At some point I'll clean the rest of these out, these holes here. Then we'll put together some potting mix.
I turned off the tip.
Probably remove about half these castings
This is
and
the
fill this
tip.
with potting mix and mix it all together
I
real
turned
good.
off the tip.
And then we'll have, we'll be ready to go for
Guess
this
if this has a worm or
this season as far as starting seeds and stuff like that. I need to get my trays. I don't know if I've got all my trays back. I think a friend's got a couple of them. But I need to get my seed starting trays back. Got a few more down here. And clean up the grow room here.
Do you know what you
We got an orchid upstairs. Somebody, I think, well, I've got this orchid mix for an orchid we got upstairs. We typically don't use Miracle Grow or any of those other products for like our actual gardening, mix for our vegetables and stuff. I do use a mint lighter gardening method though. Once the seedlings are starting, we plant them in the ground. I do use that. I've got some videos on that. So, all right. We'll put this back together and we'll head out to Grandpa's and check out the greenhouse.
This stinks.
Alright, so we're at the garden. We're going to check out the greenhouse, but I thought I'd take you guys down here to the garden, kind of give you an update. You can see the garlic right there, the row, and the tops are pretty well died back for the most part. There's still some green in them. Most of that's because it's been mulched pretty thick with these leaves. A couple places where, there's still some growth and all that, but we did get most of the garden covered.
I'm glad I brought my boots.
There's a couple places we didn't get covered as well. We got a little bit of straw down, but not much. We didn't get anything in this area here. We kind of ran out of leaves. Anyway, it's raining. It's kind of nasty out today. It's kind of the kind of days that you just kind of stay in the house and watch movies, or just kind of do some quiet activities, rest, maybe take a nap.
But we're not doing that.
But we're not doing that. Got some leftover mulch Dad bought for the for his property that just didn't get sprayed. He'll probably spread that in the spring. It's the kids' garden area. We got that mulch for leaves. There's a little bit of growth there. We got the herb bed there. You can see way back there where we had the rhubarb, Ukrainian rhubarb. All that's died back. Come on, bud.
No, you're not allowed. You're the enemy.
Anyway, we're gonna make our way up to the greenhouse. I tried to organize it a little bit. We haven't really been out here for the last couple months. You can see that the roof vent's closed because it's cold, and until the temperature reaches like 70 degrees or so, it doesn't really open. The side window louver that we put in, it's closed as well. We got the automatic opener on there. Same deal. We'll be spending some time cleaning things up. There's radish seeds there, and I got some lettuce seeds. I might take those home with me today and start cleaning the seed, harvesting the seed to get ready for the spring. So you can see it's about 50 degrees in the greenhouse. Sunlight definitely is a big factor. If the sun was out shining down, it would be a lot warmer in here. But because it's a cloudy day, there's not as much direct lights coming in to heat things up. We're going to go ahead and bring this seed home. Maybe spend some time this evening cleaning it. Which what that'll be is I'll just crush everything out. I'll clean the seed off the stems. We'll put it in a bowl.
I don't have a hand.
Fill it with water. The good seeds will rise, or will go to the bottom. All the bad stuff will go to the top. Looks like there's a little water that's getting in there. Where what we found was the tabs, the retainer clips that keep the panels in on the bottom. They're not like watertight, You know, that's something that if Power Ram wanted to improve that, they could beef up those retainer clips to where they would have like a rubber seal around them or something, so that when you put them in, it would seat properly and wouldn't let anything in. What we did was took some silicone caulk and went around and fixed all those up. You know, not a big deal. Anyways, things slow down. I'd like to spend some more time out here, take advantage of this greenhouse. We'll take this lettuce seed home. It'd be interesting to see how much actual seed that I get from all this material here. And then also how much of it is still good, since it's been basically out here in the elements, well, relatively speaking, in this greenhouse since this past summer, the end of summer, beginning of fall here. So other than that, I guess that's it for now. We're gonna go to the store here and hang out with Dad for a little bit. So until next time, happy gardening. Bye.